Welcome to Educational World. This is the likely physics practical NECO 2020 question number 1. But wait, before we proceed, I would like you to hit the subscribe button and watch this video to the end. I read the question. In the diagram, a thread AC fixed at pulley A passes over pulley C on a force board and carries an unknown mass W. Retain this mass throughout the experiment. Draw a line along the direction of AC on the paper held behind the thread. Locate the midpoint B of AC and mark its position on this line. Draw BP at right angles to AC. By means of a loop of thread, suspend a mass M equal to 5 grams from AC and adjust the position of the loop so that the line of action of the weight of M lies along BP. Ensure that M and W hang off the board. Measure OB, which is equal to Y, and AO. Evaluate Y all over AO. Repeat the experiment for M equal to 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30 grams respectively. In each case, determine the corresponding values of Y, AO and Y over AO. Tabulate your readings. Plot a graph of M on the vertical axis and Y over AO on the horizontal axis. Determine the slope of the graph and state 2 precautions taken to ensure accurate results. Let us assume that we have set up our apparatus as required. For us to be able to outsmart this practical, you have to follow my instructions. Yeah. Firstly, we will have to perform the first practical to obtain the values which will be essential throughout the rest of this practical. Measure the distance AC from the center of the pulleys and find its midpoint B. Measure the distance AB and record it, for it is a constant throughout this experiment. We must be thinking, what is the value of the unknown mass labeled W? Its value is 30 grams. But relax, it's not going to be considered in this experiment. Now I want you to note that all the traces you are going to make on the white paper that is placed on the board clamped by the 2 rotor stands, you are going to submit them at the end of the practical. So for each practical, for each step you take, you must have to trace the values on the white paper. So let us say that the distance AB is 7.66 centimeters. Performing the first practical, the first experiment, when M is equal to 5 grams, our values are as recorded. When M is equal to 5 grams, Y is equal to 0.5 centimeter, AO is equal to 7.68 cm, and Y over AO is equal to 0.065. There is a relationship between mass M and the vertical distance Y. This relationship is going to help us, so we need to get that. The mass M is directly proportional to the vertical displacement Y, because the bigger the value of the mass, bigger the distance. So we say that M is equal to KY, where K is the constant of proportionality, and we are going to determine the value of that constant. So when M is equal to 5 grams and Y is equal to 0.5 cm, so substituting these into equation 1, we have that 5 is equal to k open bracket 0.5. So we are going to make k the subject of the formula, and simplifying it, we now have that k is equal to 10.0 gram per cm. So we'll be using this value for the rest of the practical. Now we move ahead. So this is how we manipulate this practical. When m is equal to 10 gram, so what will be the value of y? Recall that m is equal to ky. So y in this case will be m over k. So substituting the values, we now have 10 over 10, which is equal to 1 cm. So the displacement y is equal to 1 cm. So we are going to consider a section of the triangle, which is a right angle triangle AOB. So we observe that it is a right angle triangle. So putting in the values, AB 7.66 and the displacement y is 1.0 cm. So we are going to use Pythagoras theorem to evaluate AO. So we have that AO square is equal to AB square plus y square. So we are going to substitute the values and solve for AO. So AO square is equal to 59.67. AO will now be 7.72 centimeters. So we've gotten our AO. We will now move to the table of values. When m is equal to 10 gram, y is equal to 1 centimeter, AO is equal to 7.72 cm, and y over AO will be 0.129. So we change our white paper and continue. When m is equal to 15 gram, what will be the value of y? Still the same relationship, that m is equal to ky. So we are going to find the new value of y when m is 15. So simplifying, we have y is equal to 15 over 10. So the new value of y is 1.5 cm. Still considering that same right angle triangle AOB, putting the values where necessary. AB is equal to 7.66 cm, and now y is equal to 1.5 cm. Still using Pythagoras theorem and simplifying, so we have AO square is equal to AB square plus y square, and simplifying everything, we now have that AO square is equal to 60.92. So taking the square root of both sides, AO is equal to 7.81 centimeters. So we now compute our table of values. So we now have that when m is equal to 15 gram, y is equal to 1.5 cm, AO is equal to 7.81 cm, and y over AO when evaluated is 0.192. So we move to when m is equal to 20 gram. So we'll still calculate the new value of y, and we'll be using the same relationship, that m is equal to ky and y is equal to m over k. So simplifying for y is equal to 2 cm. Still considering that same right angle triangle, AB is equal to 7.66 and y is equal to 2 centimeters. Then we are going to use Pythagoras theorem again to evaluate AO. We have that AO square is equal to 62.67. Taking the square root of both sides, AO is equal to 7.92 centimeters. So we move straight to computing our table of values. We now have that when m is equal to 20 gram, y is equal to 2 cm, AO is equal to 7.92 cm, and y over AO is equal to 0.253. So when we are done with the tracing, we move over to a new white paper when m is equal to 25 gram. Following the same procedure, we'll have to look for the value of y. So we record that m is equal to ky and y is equal to m over k. So simplifying for y here is equal to 2.5 centimeters. We'll say consider the right angle triangle we have. Substituting the values where necessary, AB is equal to 7.66. Don't forget that. Y here now is 2.5 cm, and we are going to use Pythagoras theorem to evaluate for AO. So we have that AO square is equal to 64.93 and AO is equal to 8.06 centimeters. We now move over to our table of values. When m is equal to 25 gram, y is equal to 2.5 cm, AO is equal to 8.06 centimeters, and y over AO is equal to 0.310. Now when m is equal to 30 gram, so what will be the value of y? Now we have to follow the same procedure which we have been doing so far. Y is equal to m over k, and we are going to substitute the values where necessary. So simplifying 30 over 10, so y is equal to 3 cm. Now remember that the triangle ABO or AOB is a right angle triangle, and AB is 7.66 cm, y is equal to 3 cm. So we are going to use Pythagoras theorem to evaluate for AO, and we have that AO square is equal to 67.67. Taking the square root of both sides, AO now is equal to 8.23 cm. So completing our table of values, we now have that when m is equal to 30 gram, y is equal to 3 cm, AO is equal to 8.23, and y over AO is equal to 0.365. That's simple, is it not? Very simple. So we've gotten our complete table of values now, as you can see. Now one important thing you have to note is that, can you see the uniform number of decimal places? And also the heading of our table of values have their respective units, except the one that doesn't have a unit. So we now move straight to graph plotting. So don't forget the title of the graph is a graph of m against y over AO, and you can see it's a straight line graph. Now we move to the slope. The slope is change in m all over change in y over AO. So we are going to take 2 points from the vertical axis and 2 points from the horizontal axis. So the points we are going to use here is 20 and 10. So the slope now will be 20 minus 10 all over the corresponding values, which are 0.253 minus 0.129. And simplifying it, we now have that the slope S is equal to 80.6 grams. Remember the unit, the gram. That is very, very important. If you have any comments or any questions, you can add it on the comment section below. Thank you for watching.